Morning, this is Deepak. So today I have a very interesting topic to discuss with you, and it's going to be a little long, so I would ask you for your indulgence here because it is based on some of the ideas that I'm presenting in this book by Menas Kafatos, and the book is called You Are the Universe, Discovering Your Cosmic Self and Why It Matters. Why it matters. I'm just adjusting the light here so it's a little better. Okay, so let me start off by saying that the inspiration of the book came a while ago when I was reading about a conversation between the great Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore and Albert Einstein, two giant minds of the last century. So I'm going to read to you a little bit from the book right now. I'm going to read to you a little bit from the book about this whole idea of whether the universe evolves in us, or is the universe independent of us? I'm adjusting the camera a little bit so you can be watching me with a little more clarity, I think. Okay, so here is an excerpt from the book. I'm going to read it to you. On July 14, 1930, reporters from around the world gathered outside Einstein's house in Kaput, a village outlying Berlin, favored by the well-to-do as an escape from the hustle and bustle of the city. The occasion was a visit by Rabindranath Tagore, a great Indian poet then at the height of his fame. Born to a prominent Bengali family in 1861, almost 20 years before Einstein, Tagore had leapt into the Western imagination by winning the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1913. He was also a philosopher and musician, someone the West viewed as an embodiment of Indian spiritual traditions. The purpose of Tagore's visit with the world's greatest scientist, as Einstein was popularly and probably rightly known, was to discuss the nature of reality. As science raised serious doubts about the religious worldview, readers felt that Tagore enjoyed an uncanny and very personal connection with a higher world. Reading even a few snippets of his writings creates the same impression today. And I'm going to read you more snippets from his writing in a little bit. Here's something. I feel this pang inside. Is it my soul trying to break out, or the world's soul trying to break in? My mind trembles with the shimmering leaves. My heart sings with the touch of sunlight. My life is glad to be floating with all things into the blue of space and the dark of time. On that July day, as their conversation was recorded for posterity, Einstein was more than politely curious about Tagore's worldview. He recognized the appeal of an alternate reality. So this I'm reading from the beginning of the book, You Are the Universe. Einstein asked the first question, do you believe in the divine as isolated from the world? Tagore's reply, delivered in flowery Indian English, was a surprise. Not isolated. Not isolated. The infinite personality of humans comprehends the universe. There cannot be anything that cannot be subsumed by the human personality. The truth of the universe is human truth. Tagore then set out a theme that blended science and mysticism in a metaphor. Quote unquote, matter is composed of protons and electrons with gaps between them. But matter may seem to be solid without the links and spaces which unify the individual electrons and protons. The entire universe is linked up with us as individuals in a similar manner. It is a human universe. In a simple phrase, the human universe, Tagore had posed the ultimate challenge to materialism. He had also understood the cherished belief. He had also undermined the cherished belief in a divine universe. Materialism would place human beings as an accidental creation that occurred on a speck of a planet awash in billions of galaxies. Religion, in its most literal interpretation, would place God's mind infinitely beyond the human mind. Tagore believed neither of these things, and Einstein immediately became engaged, as the transcript shows. So here's a quote from Einstein from that conversation. Einstein: "There are two different conceptions about the nature of the universe. The world as a unity dependent on humanity, and the world as a reality independent of the human factor." Tagore renounced this either-or proposition. So Tagore responded by saying, "When our universe is in harmony with us, the eternal, we know it as truth. We feel it as beauty. When our universe is in harmony with man, humans, the eternal, we know it as truth. We feel it as beauty." Einstein responded by saying, "This is the purely human conception of the universe." And Tagore responded again, "There can be no other conception." Tagore wasn't spouting poetic fancy or even mystical dogma. Tagore, flowing robes and sage's long white beard notwithstanding, for 70 years had been coming to terms with the scientific view of reality, and he felt that he could counter it with something deeper and closer to truth. Tagore: "This world is a human world. The world apart from us does not exist. It is a relative world depending for its reality upon our consciousness." No doubt Einstein understood the implications of Tagore's human universe, and he didn't ridicule it or attempt to undermine it. But he couldn't accept it either. The most pointed exchange immediately followed. Einstein: "Truth, then, or beauty, is not independent of us?" Tagore: "No, it is not." Einstein: "If there would be no human beings anymore, the Apollo Belvedere," which is a famous classical statue in the Vatican, "if there would be no human beings anymore, the Apollo Belvedere would no longer be beautiful?" Question mark. Tagore: "No, it would not." Einstein responded, I agree with regard to this conception of beauty, but not with regard to truth." Tagore said, "Why not? Truth is realized through us." Einstein responded, "I cannot prove that my conception is right, but that is my religion." It was astonishingly modest for Einstein to say that he couldn't prove that truth is independent of human beings, which is, of course, the cornerstone of objective science. Human beings don't have to exist for water to be H2O. Human beings don't have to exist for water to be H2O, or for gravity to attract interstellar dust and form stars. By using the tactful word religion, Einstein said, in effect, "I have faith that the objective world is real, even though I cannot prove it." This once famous meeting between two great minds is now largely forgotten. So I decided to resurrect it. But in a startling way, it was prophetic, because the possibility of a human universe, one that depends upon us for its very existence, now looms large. The most fantastic of possibilities, that we are creators of reality, we are the creators of our reality, is no longer fantastic. After all, belief and disbelief are human creations too. So this is an excerpt from You Are the Universe, written with Menas Kafatos, the physicist, who collaborated with me in writing this book. The book will be out February 7th, which is a little over 3 weeks from now. And it is already, by the way, #1 on the cosmology list on Amazon. And that's thanks to a lot of your support. So I support you very much in your desire to understand the deeper meaning of reality. And I am very grateful to you for your support as well. So now let me elaborate a little bit more on what Tagore is saying and what I'm trying to express in this book as well with Menas Kafatos. And the book is based on certain fundamental premises. And these fundamental premises are as follows. First, that consciousness is fundamental and without cause. 2, consciousness is the source of all experience. It is the knowing element in every experience. Consciousness makes every experience possible. All experience occurs in consciousness. All experience is known in consciousness. And all experience is ultimately made out of consciousness. Consciousness is self-organizing, self-regulating, self-evolving. Consciousness is spontaneously creative. It displays non-local correlations, which means everything is instantly correlated and connected with everything else. And this correlation is unmediated, unmitigated, and instantaneous because it occurs in a domain that is not in time. Consciousness, therefore, is the source of intention and volition. It is the basis of life, or what we call sentience. It displays complementarities in its expressions: mind and body, wave and particle, organism and environment, time and timelessness. And all experience is by contrast: good and evil, pleasure and pain, hot and cold, also up and down, darkness and light. So everything that we experience is of the nature of contrast and opposites. Consciousness expresses itself spontaneously through interactive creativity. It is the source of all human constructs and all systems of thought. So religion is a system of thought in consciousness, as is philosophy, as in science, as is science, as is art, as is music, as is theology. But consciousness itself is without form and therefore spaceless and timeless. You cannot see it, although it makes all seeing possible. So I started out by saying that consciousness is formless and therefore not in time. But because consciousness creates experience through its own modifications, which are sensations, images, feelings, thoughts, sense perceptions, then consciousness makes all experience possible. Without consciousness, there's no experience of what we call mind, body, or universe. So, given this is part of many wisdom traditions and the perennial philosophies, here is the basic idea. Consciousness evolves in the presence of now being eternal. Now is not a moment in time. Now is the presence of being in which experience evolves. And this experience evolves as the universe and also ultimately as the evolution of species of consciousness. We are a species of consciousness. Because consciousness is fundamental and without cause, it has no beginning and no ending. Birth and death are human constructs based on the construct that there is a body, there is a mind, and there is a universe, which is also a human construct. So then there is no argument in this scheme between what is called creationism and what is called evolution. The way creationism is normally used is there's a creator outside of the universe. And that's not what this model is saying. This model is saying that there's being, and the becoming of that being is all species, all modes of knowledge, all modes of knowing, and all objects known. And so consciousness evolves as the universe, and consciousness also evolves right now as the universe we are experiencing, which is the human universe. But it also evolves as species of consciousness. So given this, there is no contradiction between creativity, spontaneous creativity, and evolution, both cosmic evolution and biological evolution. So here is something, again, I started with Tagore, and I'd like to end today's conversation with Tagore, and this will put everything in perspective. So once again, this is a reading from Tagore. The same stream of life that runs through my veins night and day runs through the world and dances in rhythmic measure. It is the same life that shoots in joy through the dust of the earth in numberless blades of grass and breaks into tumultuous waves of leaves and flowers. It is the same life that is rocked in the ocean cradle of birth and death, in ebb and in flow. I feel my limbs are made glorious by the touch of this world of life, and my pride is from the life throb of ages dancing in my blood this moment. The life throb of ages, cosmic evolution, dancing in your blood this moment. Here's another poem by Tagore, and this puts a perspective on evolution as a creative force of consciousness, again from the great Indian poet Tagore. Timeless, I'll start again, from the great Indian poet Tagore. Time is endless in your hands, my lord. There is none to count your minutes. Days and nights pass, and ages bloom and fade like flowers. I'll repeat it again. Days and nights pass, and ages bloom and fade like flowers. You know how to wait. Your centuries follow each other, perfecting a small wildflower. Your centuries follow each other, perfecting a small wildflower. We have no time to lose, and having no time to lose, we must scramble for our chances. We are too poor to be late. I'll repeat that. We have no time to lose, and having no time, we must scramble for our chances. We are too poor to be late. And so it is that time goes by while I give it to every querulous man who claims it, and your altar is empty of offerings to the last. At the end of the day, I hurry. At the end of the day, I rush, lest your gate be shut. But I find that yet there is time. So time, again, is a human construct. But there is only now. All experience is now. All imagination is now. And the universe evolves in now. The universe evolves in now. I started this podcast by asking, what role can we play in the evolution of the universe? And the role we can play is to favor the Platonic qualities of truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, to favor that which connects us as love, compassion, joy, equanimity, peace, empathy, and to seek always truth, goodness, beauty, and harmony, and as a result favor the forces of evolution, because the universe is evolving in us. You are the universe. So once again, the book is out, February 7th. I will continue to read excerpts from it. Of course, grateful if you get the book and read it, but even if you don't, I shall be sharing it with you right here as we speak to each other in the days to come. And if you have questions prepared, I'm happy to answer those questions as well. So let's continue this conversation together. You are the universe.